Let's begin by understanding the term constitution. A constitution is a set of fundamental rules and principles, either written or unwritten, that lays the foundation for how a country is governed. It explains how the government is formed, what powers it holds, and the rights and freedoms granted to citizens. It also outlines the duties expected from citizens. Importantly, the Constitution is the supreme law of the land, meaning all other laws must conform to it. This ensures a stable and predictable system of governance where everyone knows their rights and responsibilities. In essence, the Constitution acts as the backbone of a nation's legal and political framework. Constitution serves several crucial functions. It establishes the main organs of government, the legislature, which makes laws, the executive, which implements them, and the judiciary, which interprets them. It also divides powers among these organs and between central and state governments, ensuring no single entity becomes too powerful. The Constitution limits government authority, protecting citizens from misuse of power. It guarantees fundamental rights like equality, freedom, and justice, and upholds the rule of law, making sure everyone is equal before the law. Finally, it promotes national unity by providing a common legal framework for the entire country. Constitution is made up of several key components. The preamble introduces the Constitution and states its objectives, such as justice, liberty, equality, and fraternity. Fundamental rights guarantee freedoms and equality to citizens. Directive principles of state policy guide the government in establishing social and economic justice. Fundamental duties outline the responsibilities expected from citizens. The structure of government section explains the powers and functions of the legislature, executive, and judiciary. Lastly, the amendment procedure details how the Constitution can be changed or updated to meet new needs. Together, these components ensure the Constitution remains relevant and effective. Constitutionalism is the principle that government operates within the limits set by the Constitution. It means that government power is not absolute and must be exercised according to established rules. Constitutionalism ensures that laws, not individuals, are supreme, and that government actions are fair and lawful. This system protects the rights of citizens and prevents the misuse of power. By upholding constitutionalism, democracy functions properly and individual liberty is safeguarded. In summary, constitutionalism is about ensuring that the government remains accountable and operates within a framework that respects both law and individual rights. Constitutionalism is defined by several important characteristics. First, the supremacy of the Constitution means it stands above all other laws and authorities. Second, limited government ensures that officials can only act within the powers given by the Constitution. The rule of law means everyone, including leaders, is subject to the law. Separation of powers divides authority among the legislature, executive, and judiciary to prevent concentration of power. Fundamental rights are guaranteed and protected from arbitrary government action. An independent judiciary safeguards constitutional values, while checks and balances allow each branch to oversee the others. Finally, a democratic system ensures the government is elected by and accountable to the people. Basic elements of constitutionalism include the supremacy of the Constitution, meaning all authorities must act according to it and any law against it is invalid. The rule of law ensures that no one is above the law and all citizens are treated equally. Limited government means the powers of officials are clearly defined and restricted. Fundamental rights protect citizens from misuse of power, including rights like liberty, equality, and justice. Separation of powers prevents any one branch from becoming too powerful, and an independent judiciary protects the Constitution and reviews government actions. Checks and balances maintain a healthy distribution of authority. British presence in India began in 1600 with the East India Company, initially focused on trade. Over time, the company established trading centers in Surat, Bombay, Madras, and Calcutta. Gradually, it became involved in Indian politics, supporting local rulers. The Battle of Plassey in 1757 marked a turning point, giving the British political power in Bengal. The Battle of Buxar in 1764 further strengthened their control. The company expanded its rule through wars, treaties, and policies like the Subsidiary Alliance. By 1857, most of India was under company rule. After the 1857 revolt, power shifted from the company to the British Crown. During company rule, several important acts were passed. The Regulating Act of 1773 was the first step to control company administration, making the Governor of Bengal the Governor-General of India and establishing the Supreme Court at Calcutta. Pitt's India Act of 1784 introduced dual control, with the British government supervising the company. Charter Acts of 1793, 1813, 1833, and 1853 brought changes like extending company rule, ending trade monopolies, separating legislative and executive functions, and introducing competitive exams for civil services. These acts gradually reduced the company's power and set the stage for British Crown rule. After 1858, power shifted from the East India Company to the British Crown. The Government of India Act, 1858 marked this transition, creating the Secretary of State for India. The Indian Councils Acts of 1861 and 1892 expanded legislative councils and increased Indian participation. Government of India Acts of 1909, 1919, and 1935 introduced reforms like separate electorates, dyarchy, and a federal structure. The Indian Independence Act of 1947 ended British rule, leading to the creation of India and Pakistan as independent nations. Each act played a role in shaping modern India's political landscape. Interim government of 1946 was formed on September 2, 1946 with Jawaharlal Nehru as its head. It served as a temporary government before India's independence. Members included leaders from major political parties, and the government operated under the framework of the Government of India Act 1935. While it had control over administration, it did not have complete freedom. The interim government prepared India for full self-governance and laid the foundation for the future central government. Its work was crucial in ensuring a smooth transition from colonial rule to independence. Drafting of the Indian Constitution began with the formation of the Constituent Assembly in 1946. Members were elected indirectly by provincial assemblies. The first meeting was held on December 9, 1946, with Dr. Rajendra Prasad as president and Dr. B.R. Ambedkar as chairman of the drafting committee. The committee studied constitutions from around the world and held detailed discussions before preparing the final draft. The Constitution was adopted on November 26, 1949, and came into force on January 26, 1950. This process ensured the Constitution reflected the aspirations and needs of the Indian people. Several committees were formed within the Constituent Assembly to handle different aspects of the Constitution. The drafting committee was chaired by Dr. B.R. Ambedkar. Jawaharlal Nehru led the Union Powers and Union Constitution committees, while Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel chaired the Provincial Constitution and Advisory committees. Other committees focused on fundamental rights, minorities, rules of procedure, finance, and states. Each committee was headed by a prominent leader, ensuring expertise and representation. This division of work allowed for detailed consideration of every aspect of the Constitution, resulting in a comprehensive and balanced document. Constitution of India has several salient features. It is a written document and the lengthiest constitution in the world. India is described as a sovereign, socialist, secular, democratic republic. The Constitution establishes a federal system with unitary features, a parliamentary form of government, and guarantees fundamental rights and directive principles. It also provides for an independent judiciary, single citizenship, universal adult franchise, emergency provisions, and fundamental duties. These features make the Indian Constitution unique and adaptable to the country's diverse needs. Indian Constitution is a written document, compiled into a single text. This clarity helps define the structure, powers, and functions of government organs. A written constitution provides a clear reference for resolving disputes and ensures that everyone understands the rules governing the country. It also makes it easier to amend or update the constitution as needed. The written nature of the Indian Constitution has contributed to its stability and effectiveness over the years. Fundamental rights are essential freedoms guaranteed to all citizens. They protect individuals from government overreach and ensure justice, liberty, and equality. These rights include the right to equality, freedom, protection against exploitation, freedom of religion, cultural and educational rights, and the right to constitutional remedies. By safeguarding these rights, the Constitution ensures that every citizen can live with dignity and participate fully in society. Fundamental rights are enforceable by courts, making them a powerful tool for protecting individual liberties. India's federal system divides power between the central government and state governments. While both levels have their own areas of authority, the central government is stronger, especially during emergencies. This system allows for local self-government and protects regional interests while maintaining national unity. The federal structure is supported by a written constitution, division of powers, independent judiciary, and bicameral legislature. These features ensure a balance between unity and diversity, making the system suitable for a large and varied country like India. Union Parliament of India is bicameral, meaning it has two houses, the Lok Sabha and the Rajya Sabha. The Lok Sabha, or House of the People, is the lower house with members directly elected by the people. The Rajya Sabha, or Council of States, is the upper house with members elected by state legislatures. This bicameral system ensures better lawmaking and prevents hasty decisions. It also allows for representation of both the people and the states, balancing national and regional interests. Fundamental duties are outlined in Article 51A of the Constitution. There are 11 duties including respecting the Constitution, national flag, and national anthem, following the ideals of the freedom struggle, protecting the sovereignty and integrity of India, defending the country, promoting harmony, preserving heritage and culture, protecting the environment, developing scientific temper, safeguarding public property, striving for excellence, and providing education to children. These duties promote discipline, unity, and responsible citizenship, helping to build a strong and cohesive nation. India's Constitution guarantees 6 fundamental rights: right to equality, right to freedom, right against exploitation, right to freedom of religion, cultural and educational rights, and right to constitutional remedies. The right to equality ensures equal treatment for all. The right to freedom covers speech, movement, and profession. The right against exploitation prohibits human trafficking and child labor. Freedom of religion allows everyone to practice their faith. Cultural and educational rights protect minorities. The right to constitutional remedies lets citizens approach the Supreme Court to enforce their rights, making these protections meaningful. India's parliamentary system has several defining features. It has a dual executive, the president as the nominal head of state and the prime minister as the real head of government. The Council of Ministers, led by the prime minister, is collectively responsible to the Lok Sabha. Ministers are members of the legislature, ensuring a close link between the executive and legislative branches. The opposition party plays a vital role in checking government action. The system is flexible, accountable, and suitable for a democratic society, but it can also lead to political instability and party politics. Human rights are basic rights necessary for a dignified life. In India, these include the right to life and liberty, equality, and freedom. Human rights are protected mainly through fundamental rights in the Constitution, the judiciary, and the National Human Rights Commission. These rights ensure that every citizen enjoys freedom, equality, and justice. The judiciary plays a crucial role in upholding human rights, while the NHRC addresses violations and promotes awareness. Together, these mechanisms help create a just and fair society. So written orders issued by the Supreme Court or high courts to protect fundamental rights. There are five main types: habeas corpus, which protects personal liberty against illegal detention; mandamus, which orders public officials to perform their duties; prohibition, which prevents lower courts from exceeding their jurisdiction; certiorari, which quashes illegal orders of lower courts; and quo warranto, which asks a person to show the authority under which they hold a public office. These writs are powerful tools for safeguarding citizens' rights and ensuring justice. Article 14 of the Indian Constitution guarantees equality before the law and equal protection of the law. This means that no person is above the law and everyone is treated equally by the state. The state cannot discriminate arbitrarily, and the same law applies to everyone regardless of their background. Article 14 ensures fairness, justice, and equality in society, forming the foundation for a just and inclusive nation. Article 19 provides 6 fundamental freedoms: speech and expression, assembly, association, movement, residence, and profession. These rights allow citizens to express opinions, hold meetings, form groups, move freely across India, live anywhere, and choose any occupation. However, these freedoms are not absolute and can be restricted by law in the interest of public order, security, morality, or decency. Article 19 empowers citizens while balancing individual liberty with the needs of society. Article 21 states that no person shall be deprived of life or personal liberty except according to procedure established by law. Its scope has been expanded by the judiciary to include the right to live with dignity, personal liberty, privacy, livelihood, health, education, clean environment, speedy trial, shelter, and protection from torture. Article 21 is considered the widest and most important right, ensuring that every individual enjoys a life of dignity and security. Fundamental duties were not part of the original Constitution. During the emergency period 1975-77, the need for citizen duties was recognized. The Swaran Singh Committee recommended their inclusion, leading to the 42nd Constitutional Amendment Act of 1976, which added Part IVA and Article 51A. Initially, there were 10 duties, with the 11th added in 2002, focusing on education for children. These duties promote responsible citizenship and national unity. Article 51A lists 11 fundamental duties for citizens. These include respecting the Constitution, national flag, and anthem, following freedom struggle ideals, protecting sovereignty and integrity, defending the country, promoting harmony, preserving heritage, protecting the environment, developing scientific temper, safeguarding public property, striving for excellence, and providing education to children. These duties encourage citizens to contribute positively to society and uphold national values. Justice J.S. Verma Committee in 1999 reviewed fundamental duties and recommended greater emphasis on their implementation. Key duties highlighted include voting in elections, paying taxes honestly, respecting the Constitution and law, promoting harmony, protecting public property, safeguarding the environment, and supporting democracy and civic discipline. The committee stressed the importance of making these duties meaningful through education and legal measures. Directive principles of state policy, found in Part IV Articles 3651, are guidelines for the government to establish a welfare state. They are not enforceable by courts but aim to promote social, economic, and political justice. DPSBs guide the state in making laws and policies that ensure equality, welfare, and social justice for all citizens. They reflect the vision of a just and inclusive society. The directive principles cover a range of provisions. Article 36 defines the state, while Article 37 states that DPSBs are non-justiciable. Articles 38 to 51 cover social and economic justice, equal livelihood, free legal aid, village panchayats, right to work, humane working conditions, living wage, worker participation, uniform civil code, early childhood care, welfare of weaker sections, nutrition, public health, protection of environment, monuments, separation of judiciary, and promotion of international peace. These articles guide the government in creating a fair and equitable society. Directive principles are classified into 3 categories: socialist principles, Gandhi principles, and liberal intellectual principles. Socialist principles aim for social and economic justice, including welfare, equal pay, and legal aid. Gandhi principles reflect Mahatma Gandhi's ideas, focusing on village panchayats, cottage industries, and prohibition. Liberal intellectual principles are based on modern democratic ideals such as uniform civil code, early childhood education, environment protection, and international peace. This classification helps in understanding the diverse goals of DPSBs. Apart from Part IV, guiding principles are found in the Preamble, Fundamental Rights Part III, Fundamental Duties Part IVA, and other provisions like emergency articles. The Preamble sets out justice, liberty, equality, and fraternity as core values. Fundamental rights protect individual freedoms, while fundamental duties guide citizens' behavior. Emergency provisions and later added directive principles further shape governance. Together, these parts provide a comprehensive guide for both the state and citizens. Federal system divides powers between the central and state governments. Key features include division of powers, a written constitution, supremacy of the constitution, rigidity, independent judiciary, dual government, and usually a bicameral legislature. This structure allows for efficient administration, local self-government, and protection of regional interests, while preventing concentration of power. However, it can also lead to delays and conflicts between different levels of government. Federal system offers several advantages, such as efficient administration, local self-government, prevention of power concentration, protection of regional interests, and promotion of unity and diversity. However, it also has disadvantages including a potentially weak central government, delays in decision-making, conflicts between center and states, higher administrative costs, and the risk of division. Understanding these pros and cons helps in appreciating the balance the Indian constitution seeks to achieve. Unitary system centralizes all powers in the central government. Its features include a single government authority, centralized power, single constitution, no division of sovereignty, and flexible constitution. Advantages are strong central government, quick decisions, uniform laws, lower costs, and suitability for small countries. Disadvantages include concentration of power, less local autonomy, risk of dictatorship, ignoring regional diversity, and overburdened central government. The Indian system blends both federal and unitary features. India's government system is described as quasi-federal, combining features of both federal and unitary systems. It follows parliamentary democracy, has a written constitution, division of powers, and a strong central government. This unique blend allows India to maintain unity while accommodating regional diversity. The system ensures effective governance, stability, and flexibility to address the country's complex needs. Indian constitution's federal features include a written constitution, clear division of powers, union, state, and concurrent lists, supremacy of the constitution, independent judiciary, bicameral legislature, and dual government. These features ensure that both central and state governments function independently within their domains, while the Supreme Court resolves disputes. The federal structure balances national unity with regional autonomy. Despite its federal structure, the Indian constitution has several unitary features. These include a single constitution, single citizenship, strong central government, all India services, appointment of governors by the center, integrated judiciary, emergency provisions, central control over state finances, and the power of parliament to change state boundaries. These features strengthen the center and ensure national unity, especially during crises. Constitution divides powers between the Union and states through the 7th Schedule. The Union list covers subjects like defense, foreign affairs, and currency. The state list includes police, public health, and agriculture. The concurrent list covers education, marriage, and forests. In case of conflict, Union law prevails. This division balances national unity with regional autonomy, allowing both levels to function effectively. A parliamentary government, the executive is drawn from the legislature. The Prime Minister is the real executive, while the government is responsible to the legislature. India follows the British model of parliamentary democracy, ensuring accountability and flexibility. The system allows for easy removal of inefficient governments and promotes harmony between the executive and legislature, but can also lead to instability and party politics. Presidential system features a single executive, with the president serving as both head of state and government. The executive is independent of the legislature and is directly elected. Key characteristics include separation of powers, fixed tenure, and no collective responsibility. While this system offers stability and strong leadership, it can also lead to conflicts between branches and less accountability. Presidential system offers stable government, quick decision-making, clear separation of powers, strong leadership, and continuity due to fixed tenure. However, it also has disadvantages such as the possibility of dictatorship, conflicts between executive and legislature, rigidity, less accountability, and unsuitability for multi-party systems. These factors must be considered when comparing different forms of governance. President of India is the constitutional head of state, exercising powers on the advice of the Council of Ministers. Executive powers include appointing the Prime Minister, Council of Ministers, governors, and judges. Legislative powers involve summoning Parliament, dissolving Lok Sabha, and giving assent to bills. Financial powers include approving the budget and operating the contingency fund. Judicial powers allow the president to appoint judges and grant pardon. Emergency and military powers further expand the president's authority during crises. Amendment is a change, addition, or removal of constitutional provisions. The Indian Constitution has been amended many times to meet changing social, political, and economic needs. The First Amendment in 1951 addressed fundamental rights. The 42nd Amendment in 1976 brought major changes. Amendments keep the Constitution flexible and relevant, allowing it to adapt to new challenges while preserving its core values. There are 3 types of constitutional amendments under Article 368. Simple majority amendments are passed like ordinary laws, such as creating new states. Special majority amendments require a 2/3 majority of members present and voting, plus more than half of total membership. Some amendments also need ratification by at least half of state legislatures, especially those affecting federal provisions. This process ensures careful consideration of major changes. Amendment process begins with the introduction of a bill in either House of Parliament. The bill must be passed by the required majority and the President's assent is compulsory. There is no provision for a joint session. Once the President gives assent, the amendment becomes part of the Constitution. This procedure ensures that amendments are made thoughtfully and with broad support. Article 368 deals with constitutional amendments. The Indian Constitution is partly rigid and partly flexible, allowing for both stability and adaptability. There is no time limit for state ratification and the President cannot withhold assent. Amendments are subject to judicial review, ensuring they do not violate the basic structure of the Constitution. These safeguards maintain the integrity of the constitutional framework. There have been 106 constitutional amendments so far. 5 recent amendments include the 101st, 2016 introducing GST, the 102nd, 2018 creating the National Commission for Backward Classes, the 103rd, 2019 providing 10% reservation for EWS, the 105th, 2021 giving states power to identify OBCs, and the 106th, 2023 introducing 33% women's reservation. These amendments reflect the evolving needs of Indian society. Constitution provides for three types of emergencies: national emergency, Article 352, state emergency or President's rule, Article 356, and financial emergency, Article 360. National emergency is declared during war, external aggression, or armed rebellion, giving the central government extensive powers. State emergency is declared when a state government fails to function constitutionally. Financial emergency is declared when India's financial stability is threatened. These provisions ensure the unity and integrity of the nation during crises. National crisis, declared under Article 352, occurs during war, external aggression, or armed rebellion. The President declares emergency, giving the central government more powers and bringing state governments under central control. Fundamental rights except Articles 20 and 21 can be suspended. This ensures the country's unity and security during times of grave threat. State crisis occurs when the constitutional machinery of a state fails. Declared under Article 356, it is also known as President's rule. The governor reports the failure and the state legislature may be dissolved or suspended. The President administers the state through the governor, ensuring continued governance and stability until normalcy is restored. Financial crisis is declared when India's financial stability is threatened. Under Article 360, the central government takes control of state finances and salaries of government employees may be reduced. States must follow the center's financial directions. This provision ensures that the country's economic health is protected during difficult times. Local self-government empowers people to manage local affairs and promotes participation in democracy. It includes Panchayati Raj for rural areas and municipalities for urban areas, recognized by the 73rd and 74th constitutional amendments. Local self-government plays a vital role in rural and urban development, bringing governance closer to the people and ensuring their voices are heard. Panchayati Raj is a system of rural local self-government introduced by the 73rd Constitutional Amendment Act, 1992. It has a three-tier structure: Gram Panchayat at the village level, Panchayat Samiti at the block level, and Zilla Parishad at the district level. Panchayati Raj aims at democratic decentralization, rural development, and implementation of government schemes. Features include direct elections, reservation for SC, SD, and women, fixed tenure, and elections conducted by the State Election Commission.